ladies! So I recently posted a picture on Instagram of sort of an everyday makeover that I did for my sister actually, Ashley. So after I posted that picture, I got a ton of questions about under eye concealers and correctors and how do you do your under eyes without making them look cakey and just kind of brighten up that whole area, because I think a lot of us, especially moms, we really struggle with dark under eyes. So I thought I would make this video. I'm going to try to make it quick but informative and let you guys kind of know some tips and tricks for your under eye area. The first thing is to address obviously why you have under eye circles. Is it hereditary? Is it you're not drinking enough water? Is it lack of sleep? I know for me, with 4 little kids, lack of sleep is usually the culprit, and also lack of water. Usually if I can get enough sleep and get enough water, they're not too bad. So the next step to dealing with under eye circles is with makeup and to attempt to correct them, conceal them, and get rid of them. So first thing you need to do is address, like I said, what kind of color discoloration you have under your eyes. Is it that kind of brownish discoloration, like I posted that picture of my sister? She has more of a brownish discoloration. Or is it like a bluish purplish? And what you need to think of is whatever color you're seeing under your eyes, you need to go the opposite on the color wheel in order to disguise it. So I really recommend, if they're not bad, if they're just like a little bit here and there, then you can kind of skip this step and go on to step 2. But if they're pretty bad, what you're going to want to consider is a corrector. Now, Bobbi Brown makes an amazing line of correctors for every skin tone, every discoloration you could possibly have. So like I said, the general rule of thumb is whatever color you're kind of dealing with under your eyes, go opposite on the color wheel. So if you have bluish discoloration under your eyes, you need a yellow corrector. If you have a brownish discoloration, you need something that is more of in the peach orange family. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but trust me, it works, and I'm not making it up, it works. The first thing you would do is to prime your eyes. Make sure you prime under your eyes. You can use any primer that works for you. I really like the L'Oreal Revitalift Miracle Blur Instant Eye Smoother. It has this little like sort of silvery head on the top that's really cool. It feels nice under your eyes. I like it, and it kind of, I make sure that I use my ring fingers and just pat it in. The next step is to use a brightener or a corrector if you need one. In today's tutorial, when I showed you how I did it, I did not use my corrector, but I do have a Bobbi Brown corrector for days when they're really bad and I feel like I need it. But what I typically use is this Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Brightener. So this is a concealer from Maybelline and has this little fuzzy top. And they do have like regular concealer shades, but this is the brightening shade. Next step after primer and corrector is to use a concealer. Obviously, everyone has their preferences on concealer. This is one of the areas of my makeup bag that I will definitely go more expensive on because I feel like it's worth it. I personally am using and loving this Dior Skin Hydrating Concealer. Another one that I've used in the past and have liked is the Makeup Forever Full Coverage Concealer. This is full coverage, so if you really need a lot, this one will get you there. The other one that I really like is the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer. Really thick consistency, which is kind of why I like this one better. It's a little thinner. But again, if you really need some coverage, that'll get you there, the Tarte concealer. For a less expensive version, e.l.f. HD concealer is really good. I don't have any right now, but that is really good concealer. And also the Sonia Kashuk at Target, these little pots of concealers. These are a really nice formula. I really like them. This one I bought last summer, so it just happens to be too dark for me to use right now, but I really like those. The next thing once you've applied your concealer is to set it. Now, not everybody has to do this step. I do, most people I know do, but not everyone has to. So don't think that if setting your concealer makes it cakey or look really dry under your eyes, then don't do it. When I do that, I like to use some kind of brush like this, like a tapered with a little bit of a dome top. This one is the contour brush by Real Techniques. This is a pretty inexpensive brush. It's nice and fluffy, and you can just, like I said, kind of dot that powder under there. And this one, I think this is actually like a bronzing brush or a blush brush. This is a Tarte brush. I don't know where or why I have it, but this is what I use. I like it. I kind of use more this like tip corner of it and kind of do this number here with it. You'll see in the tutorial how I use it, but I like this one. My favorite powder is the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. This stuff is great. It is so finely milled, like it's insane how like delicate this powder is. And I think it's perfect for under your eyes. It's about $25, so it's definitely pricier. Like I said, some things are just worth it to me, and this is one of those things. Another one that you can use that's more of a drugstore option is the NYX HD Studio Finishing Powder. This stuff, again, looks very similar, but you can see it's not quite as fine as the Laura Mercier powder. Ooh, there it goes. But it's still really, really good powder. And the other thing that I know people who use, and I use these for my face more, is the Ben Nye powders, banana powder or cameo powder. Obviously banana if you have like a yellow undertones, and the cameo powder if you have more pink undertones. Both of these are really great, not terribly expensive at all. Obviously you get a ton of product in there too. So these Ben Nye powders are great. So you just want to take those, tap them off really well on your brush, and then lightly apply them under your eyes to set it. Okay ladies, so as I mentioned, I'm going to show you guys how I conceal my under eyes. So as you can see, this one is done, this one is not. So let's just jump in and I'm going to show you what I do. The first step is I use this L'Oreal Miracle Blur Instant Eye Smoother underneath my eyes, a little bit on my finger, and you can use the little ball too and pat it on here. Just take it on my finger, and I'm looking at a mirror that's kind of behind the camera. So then I use my ring finger. You want to use the lightest touch that you can, and I just kind of pat that all under the eye area here. The next step is sometimes if they're really, really bad, I'll use a corrector, a Bobbi Brown corrector. I'm not going to use that today, but sometimes I will use that. The next step is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. I use the brightening shade, a treatment brightening shade, not the actual concealer. I like my under eye area to be pretty bright and light. So I take this and I put this in a relatively thin, don't go crazy, like in a triangle shape right here. You don't want to just do this part of your eye, otherwise it's going to look really weird. It's just kind of this weird white patch. So you want to highlight the parts of your face that would be highlighted naturally, like if you got a tan and you had like a chiseled features, you know, think about contouring and highlighting. So you want this part to be highlighted under here in like a triangle shape. And then I take my Beauty Blender and just pat. If you don't have a Beauty Blender, you can use your finger, you can use a brush, whatever works best for you, but I love this thing, the little pointed end. I mean, use the big end for foundation, but I use the little pointed end just for under eye area. And make sure that you get this area right inside here. A lot of people kind of forget that area, and it tends to be bluish purple in there on most people. So make sure you get in there too. And just pat that out. Make sure you pat out the edges. Get it nice and even. And the next step for me is regular concealer. And I have really dry under eye area, so I really like the Dior Skin Concealer. It's a hydrating under eye concealer. It's pricey. I'm not going to lie to you about that. It's pricey. It's definitely not a drugstore concealer, but to me it's worth it. So everybody has those products and those things that they'll spend money on, and for me concealer is one that I will spend a little more on. So I take that like this and I just pat it under here. I try not to drag it too much. I try to mostly just pat it instead of dragging, because that skin under there is so sensitive on everybody, not just me. And just kind of pat that. Now if I was doing my whole face of makeup, I would leave that for a few minutes and I would go do my eyebrows or something else, and I would just leave that. I really like to leave it for a minute and let it sink into the skin. Your skin will naturally kind of warm it so that it's easier to blend. But for today's purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and blend it. And tap that out. Make sure to kind of go all around. I see a child behind me and a dog behind me. Lord only knows what y'all are going to get today. The last step, and to me, this is one of the most important steps for me. Again, not everybody needs to set their under eye concealer, but I do. I don't like it to crease. So take a nice little fluffy brush like this, and then whatever setting powder you want to use. Again, this is kind of more of a spendy one. This is the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. Take just a little bit, like this on my brush a little bit, tap it into the lid, woo, tap it out some more so there's not a ton there. And then I just go under. Make sure you're kind of getting even in the corner there. Trying to get in your actual eyeball like I just did. Anywhere that I put that concealer, you want to put the brightening powder to set it. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. But it just kind of gives you a nice, clean, bright under eye, nothing too cakey, nothing too thick. The key is to work in thin layers and make sure that you use a corrector if you need a corrector first, because that corrector is going to disguise the discoloration under your eyes and then allow your concealer and foundation to do its job in lightening and brightening. Otherwise, you're just going to have kind of this ashy look under your eye from where you can still see the dark circles. Hopefully that helps. Now I'm going to go put the rest of my face on. So hopefully some of those tips will help you guys in tackling those annoying and horrible under eye circles that we all get and they just drive you batty. But hopefully, I know it seems like a lot of steps, but it's worth it to not have like crazy lines under your eyes and looking all sleepy and tired, because what's worse than when you leave the house and someone's like, "Oh, are you tired?" And you're like, "Thank you, I know that's code for you look like crap right now." So, a good bright under eye will help. The other thing I did want to mention is that this is my first like tutorial type video, so be kind. I don't really know exactly how to do all this, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to get the information to you guys quickly, and hopefully this helps. I also am not obviously set up with any kind of a cute background or anything. I'll get there. I'm working on that, trying to find a place in the house where I can shoot some videos without having my bed and dresser and everything else. I think my dog and my child were both in the tutorial part of the video, so you get what you get. I have 4 kids, so if this video was helpful, if you like it, I would love it if you would click the little thumbs up button that's down there. Subscribe to this channel. You can see more beauty type videos, and definitely leave me a comment and let me know what you want to see, what you want to learn. I'm happy to help in whatever ways that I can and make videos that you guys find useful and helpful. Obviously, I don't want to waste my time on videos you don't want to see. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you ladies next time. Bye.